All right, hello everyone. Thanks for watching this video. I'm going to go through our weekly activities with you for this video and go over this slideshow so that you have some background information and some basics to get you started on A3. And then I'll go over that discussion post that's due tonight with you. And then you'll respond to a peer on Thursday. And then this bit's a little bit different. For homework this week, I do want your prep tool due Friday. I'll send out an announcement with that information in this video as well. And why I want this due Friday is because I want to be able to give you enough time over the weekend to use my feedback to draft A3, because A3 is due the following Tuesday. Okay, so the 28th, right? And this shouldn't be too much work. Let's take a look at it. So you can look at A3's example and assignment sheet here. This isn't necessarily the order you have to go in. These are just all the things that you need to include, but also it can go in any order. And remember, you also need a visual element. And so that can go in any section as long as it's rhetorically used. So let's talk about rhetoric as well. So we want to talk about the rhetorical situation, right? So this first triangle we're going to talk about is you. So remember that you've been doing a lot of research on this project and you've become like adjusted to it and all of the things that you've read. And so you've gathered your own beliefs and assumptions about this issue. So how do you show that you're credible? How do you build your ethos and show your logos to your reader, especially considering the stakeholder is one person? It's going to be kind of more of an intimate interaction between you and your reader. How are you going to make sure that you're credible and showing those logos, all right? Now, your audience, remember, it's a specific stakeholder. So what do they value? What's their understanding? Why should they solve the problem? That's probably the most important. So why should this stakeholder be the one to send this to? Okay, so if you're writing about, let's say, plastic in the ocean, if you're writing to a small grocery store owner who doesn't even use plastic bags, they may not be the person to write to, right? You may want to write to the CEO of Walmart because they have lots of chains and they use plastic bags often, right? And so think about who is the best person to send this to. Also think about how this person can solve the problem. Do they have the power and the ability to do that? And also think about, how does this benefit them? Because you are persuading them to agree and take on your solution and your proposal. Okay, so how are you going to show them this matters to them, they can solve it, and that it will be a benefit to them? Okay. So this is a proposal, right? You are writing it to this one specific stakeholder. So you need to think about, how will you organize it? So you'll be able to do that for Friday, looking at your prep tool, but you'll need to think about, what headings are you going to use? How will you be specific? How will you be concise? Okay, really take a look at those examples and see what you can do and see if you can get inspiration from what they did in those examples. All right, your purpose. So in this proposal, you are trying to synthesize information that shows what the problem is, that shows that your solution is viable and that the solution is necessary and is something that needs to happen soon, right? So this proposal shouldn't be something that is going to happen in 50 years, but something that's exigent and important right now. Okay, so you'll need to identify a problem, and you're going to try and get the stakeholder to act, right? Your A2 is a little more vague. You were arguing about something that your group of stakeholders should do or think differently and change in their lives a little bit, but you are proposing that your stakeholder take on your specific solution, okay? So the research you're doing now, making sure that that context is one problem, right? So ocean pollution is a large problem. You need to specify it down to something even more specific. So go back through those A2s and how can you specify it to one problem, one specific detailed solution, okay? And so how you can do this, how you can narrow down, is by specifying by maybe area or by specific populations of people, okay? Or by proposing to a certain company that they should do something and they should do exactly what is in your solution, okay? So one specific problem, okay? So for this genre, it's going to be a little shorter because you want this to be easily digestible by your stakeholder. Okay, so about 3 to 5 pages, 900 to 1200 words, plus that we're excited page. So remember that you have the opportunity to organize this in the way that you think will best benefit your stakeholders. So consider where you'll provide headings and to help your stakeholder follow your ideas. So that also means how are you going to group together those ideas. Also consider which headings you'll provide in order to fully communicate your problem, exigence, and solution. Is your problem going to be in one section? Is there going to be several sections outlining the many dimensions of this problem and the solution? So you'll have to think about that. And then consider additional headings, so like subheadings that you may need. So context, cost, method, limitations, concerns. Okay, you don't need all of these, but really consider what your stakeholder needs. If you're proposing they switch to a more sustainable product, they're going to want to know what that cost is, right? And what that limitation is, right? So if there is only one person who produces these type of sustainable material you're suggesting, that might be a limitation, okay? And this doesn't belittle your proposal by showing your limitations. It builds your ethos by showing you recognize that your solution isn't perfect because no solution is perfect, right? And also consider where you'll put that visual or multimodal component, okay? Where is it going to be most impactful and where is it going to most benefit your persuasion, okay? So I'm going to have you do a quick little writing on your own. So what I want you to do is write your issue on a piece of paper, that one issue. It should be one specified issue, okay? So pause this video and go ahead and take about 2 minutes to do that. Okay, once you've done that, you obviously can't pass it around the room, but I want you to think about 2 stakeholders you have for this issue, okay? Who are 2 specific people that you can write to? And go ahead and write that down now as well. Okay, so once you've done that, take a look at those stakeholders and really try and understand who they are. You may not know a lot about them. This may require some extra research, right? So you have to consider the values, beliefs, and motivations of your stakeholder, okay? And so you'll have to think about your beliefs and your goals and motivations and how those compare to your stakeholder, okay? How are you going to balance those two in this proposal so that you two can agree on one thing and another, and you can persuade your stakeholder to be on your side, okay? So really think about how easily will your stakeholder accept this proposal. For example, if you're going to write to a congressperson, think about where their positioning is on sustainable energy. If you're going to propose something for sustainable energy and they've never voted for or supported bills for sustainable energy, think about what you'll need to do to have them accept that proposal. And if it's not going to be so easy, maybe there's a better congressperson you can write to, okay? Where might you and your stakeholder differ? So really think about who you are. This may take some internal searching, some journaling. Think about what your values are and your beliefs, especially surrounding your issue, and then also what your stakeholder believes. Okay. And also think about what common ground you have. What are things that you and your stakeholder both value, right? If something's going to benefit the community, your congressperson is probably also going to value that as well. Okay. So think about one of those stakeholders and list 3 to 4 things they value. Pause the video and give yourself about a minute to do that. Okay. Now what I would like you to do is I want you to sit back, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and get into the mind of your stakeholder. Okay, and in your notes, kind of role play your stakeholder and write a journal entry as them about your issue, okay? So pause your video, do some research on this stakeholder, and pretend you are this person. So if you're writing to the CEO of Walmart, you are now the CEO of Walmart. You are that specific person, right? If you're writing to Elon Musk, you now are Elon Musk, okay? Get into their head, think about what they value, how they feel about your issue, and spend about 2 minutes pretending that you are them. Write about this issue in a role play. Go ahead and pause the video and give yourself 2 minutes for that. Okay, so read through that and really think about who this person is. You can do this by also looking up interviews with them, by reading bios on them. You may need a little more research on who your stakeholder is. That'll help you be able to persuade them. Okay? So then I want you to take another minute and respond to the stakeholder as yourself. So how do you answer those concerns, questions, and beliefs? And how might you counter their worries? Give yourself about a minute to do that. Pause, come back to me. All right. Now that you've done that, you should have a better understanding of who your stakeholder is and how you'll respond to this discussion post, okay? So those notes are really valuable. I hope you found them valuable as well. Okay, so you're going to tell me who is your stakeholder in this discussion post this week. Who is that person and why are they the right person to send this proposal to? Number 2 is you're going to write what kind of solutions have already been attempted. So do a little bit of back research. Maybe you already know what happened to those solutions and what went wrong with those solutions. And what is a counter argument against your solution? So really think about what your stakeholder may have said. What would they have said against your proposal? And how can you refute that in your proposal? Okay, this week is a little bit different because I do want you to answer all 3 questions because they're a little shorter. And I think you will value answering all 3 of these, all right? And then on Thursday, you can respond to each other, okay? All right, well, I look forward to seeing how your proposals are coming along and the inventive ways that you all have for providing solutions for these issues. And of course, email me if you have any questions, and I look forward to giving your grades back for A2. Have a great week, everyone.